more often is the case than not that there's people right down the street that want or need exactly what you have. The only reason they're not buying it from you is because they don't know that you exist. I ask this question to groups a lot of times because I like to get, an idea of where the audience's head's at to see what their perspective is. And they answer with all kinds of different things like, lack of knowledge or education in industry, lack of funding, lack of skill. And while all those things true will factor into the success or failure of a business, but it really comes down to one thing at its core, it's really lack of sales, right? But before sales comes marketing. So we could take that a step further and say that poor marketing means that you don't really have an effective way to sell in the first place. Because sales is product driven. They know that you have what they need, and then your job is to convince them to get it from you instead of somebody else. But marketing is more branding focused. So your job, the job of the marketing is to strategically position you and your brand in front of the people who are most interested in what you have, and ideally at the precise moment that they're likely to take action. No marketing can occur until a proper strategy is developed beforehand. Otherwise, you're just putting some random things together. You're running ads here, and you're doing some of this over there, and we'll do some SEO, and then we'll send some direct mailers out. And basically, when a business does this, and this is the way 9 out of 10 businesses work, okay? When a business does this, they're guessing. Try a little of this, try a little of that, right? And it'll either work or it won't. There's a word for that. It's called gambling. Seriously, I'd rather go to Las Vegas and put it down on the table and at least have some fun before I lose all my money. They're wasting thousands of dollars to figure out whether or not it's going to work for them. And so what's the alternative? The alternative is to know beforehand that it's going to be effective for your industry and for your business because you've pulled the data from other places that tell you that this is going to be effective. Mitigate the risk. Take the risk away, right, and increase your likelihood of success, right? So how do you do that without a proper strategy first? Imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint. And you're just, I'm just going to try a little of this and try a little of that. We're going to put some wood here and some drywall there. What kind of house are you going to end up with? The walls aren't going to line up. As soon as a bad storm comes by, it's going to tilt, At the core of what causes a business to succeed or fail, it's really the strategy to begin with. It's the marketing strategy, okay? And that should come first and foremost above anything in your business. Anything. Before product. And people say, well, how am I going to market if I don't even have a product yet? Market before you have a product. Because if you can't figure out how to pre-sell the product, you could save yourself lots of money in R&D and the creation of that product. What about the service? There's no hard cost involved in that. Figure out your marketing first. Restaurants are working on the staffing and the menu and the decor and the recipes and the training and all that stuff. You have the best food and the best staff and the best decor in the world. Well, what difference does it make if nobody walks through the door? You should be investing all of your time, all of your efforts, your energy, and your money into marketing first and foremost, but don't spend a cent until you have a proper strategy in place. You really need to have a plan in front of you, a tangible plan, something that you can lay out on a table and look at, or on a whiteboard. I don't care what you put it on. But a cohesive, comprehensive strategy needs to happen first. And not only do business owners not have this, they don't do this, but the agencies that do the work for them, they don't even have this. They're guessing too. Albeit it's a more educated guess in most cases than their client, but it's still a guess. A successful business could be even far more successful than they are if they go back and reassess and reevaluate and redevelop the strategy or put one in place that they never had to begin with. So sometimes, businesses are looking for a new method. They're looking for a new channel. They're like, what else can we do? You might not have to do that. You could just look at what you already have in place, and you can increase that. We do that all the time. We find the holes, patch the holes up, and now it starts working optimally. So if you're already achieving some level of success through multiple marketing channels, considering bringing in the expert to consult on that, to find out where the breaks are, fix those breaks, right? Reinforce those systems, find the weakest link, reinforce it, make it really solid, and then start branching out and looking at what other, ancillary platforms may be available, and then bringing them all together. So instead of a multi-channel sequence going on, you have more what's commonly referred to as an omni-channel, and where everything is working synergistically together. And that's where your business, starts increasing rapidly, Does that answer your question? That's a long. I'm sorry. That's a long answer, but thorough. You can't. Nothing if not thorough. Relates to strategy more than anything else. Without that, I think you're destined for failure, right? You've heard the old adage, you plan to fail, then you fail to plan. That's not how it goes.